right, guys, welcome back to the Good Stuff Podcast, where we talk about the good stuff going on here in Marysville, Ohio, Union County, the whole area. While my job might be to help you sell your house, I prefer to sell our community, and what better guy to talk to than our City Administrator, Terry Emery.
Great to be here today, Derek. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, my pleasure. Thanks for letting us set up in council chambers here. Nice and official. So.
It's nice. It's a nice room. It serves the public well.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's got a little bit of sound deadening built in, so for a podcast.
Believe it or not, this is 10 years we've been in this building now.
Really?
10 years. Can you believe that?
It's quite, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely at that age where I'm realizing all of the things that the older folks told me and that I didn't believe and didn't process until now.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's amazing to think back to when the building was created.
Yes, and it's, the progress we've made over the last 10 years it's been fun, and I think it's serving the public well. For
sure. So how long have you been with the city?
Yeah, I've been with the city just going on 12 years. And I've loved every minute of it, and can't wait for some of the things that are going to be coming up down the road. For sure. So that brings us to the first thing I wanted to talk about. So I guess to kind of preface this conversation also, I think, especially when I come to city council, chamber, different functions, there's usually these lines of like, well, here's where our lines start and stop. And, I'm 9 miles from where we sit outside of town. Yep. So for me, I am not a voting member of Marysville, but when I travel, I say I'm from Marysville, not Broadway. Yes. So in the general context of this being somebody's community, whether or not they live in the city or not, it's kind of the context for my conversation to, hopefully serve more people. So to that broader sense of a community, help us understand where we're going in the next year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. What's in our future? Well, I want people to think too and understand that not only do we serve and serve our corporation limits, the city of Marysville is the utility provider for Union County. So our utilities extend beyond our corporation limits. And so people may not realize it, but our utilities go all the way to Post Road in Dublin.
Really?
And so when you drive down Industrial Parkway and you drive in the area of Jerome Township and Jerome Village, our utilities, our water and sewer services are right there serving that township and that area. Mm-hmm. And so we reach further than our corporation limits. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And so we have invested, Derek, and it's even well before my time, millions of dollars into the infrastructure that serves our community and outside of our community.
Huh. Very cool. Yeah. Because I think I come, I don't know how all the taxes work, spend money at Kroger or Meijer, and, some of that's money is local and gas and registration for vehicles, wherever the county, state, city lines lie in. So it's always a fascinating thing to process, all that back end stuff. But yeah, it definitely is far reaching the impact the city has. And like I said, I'm 9 miles out and I live on my little chunk, and then I come and spend my time and life interacting here in the city.
It's a great place to be.
Yeah, that's for sure. I've always said it's the best of both worlds, because I can go 9 miles north of my house and out that way and be out by myself where I love it.
Absolutely. That's
and then on the other side, you can be 20 minutes from all that Columbus has to offer, and a lot of great things here and a lot of great things on the horizon here locally.
Yes, there really is. There's a lot of neat stuff on the horizon.
So what would be your 3 favorite things that are going on, whether they're nerdy infrastructure things that somebody like yourself might be more into, or it's the Target that I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Whatever the store that is the hot topic.
Well, let me, as a part of some work we've been doing over the past 2 years, we built a new over $50 million water plant. Mm-hmm. Okay, and this water plant doubles our capacity and really is going to serve this community well for the next 100 and 150 years.
So very future-proofed.
Now,
The reason I go there is there's a domino effect to building a new plant. What that does is it puts us in a position to decommission our current plant, which is a 9-acre site located right here in Uptown Marysville.
Yeah, if somebody would have bet me there was 9 acres there, I would have all day long said there's not that much room there.
Isn't it crazy?
But once I first heard that, I looked and wow, there is a decent bit there to become whatever.
Exactly. And so what we're focusing on, and it's really neat on the potential of what that site can become.
Oh, great location.
Beautiful location. And as well, across the street, the silo site that the Heritage has donated to the city of Marysville. And so we are looking at the redevelopment of that site as well. So that's another 2.5 acre site on top of the 9-acre water plant site that is going to kind of change the north end of our uptown area as time goes on.
I remember years ago hearing the focus and desire to make the gateways more appealing, and what an opportunity with 11, 12 acres right there with Mill Creek and all that kind of, well, in the new bridge that was a couple years ago. Yes. And so it's and that's the way I come into town. So
it's not often communities get that kind of acreage to kind of start over and create what they want in the vision that this community has become.
Mm-hmm. So we can keep this in or keep this out. Is the building standing or going?
The water plant building itself will stay. No, I think there's going to be some real effort to restore the old water plant building and then create potentially housing and other concepts on the 9-acre site as well. I mean, what's really cool about the old water plant site is it runs right alongside Mill Creek. And so that's an area that of the community that we can really take advantage of in the redevelopment, and then do a lot of connectivity with trails through that area.
Oh, yeah.
So
Didn't even think of that.
So we can connect that through. So, and then you go across the street. And when you go across the street to the silo site, we've had some thoughts and some visions of creating a kind of a park-like atmosphere there. But we have had some developers that have expressed an interest in possibly utilizing those silos for housing. And so we are looking at all options right now, and we're really excited about potentially what that site can become as well.
Very cool. Yeah, like you said, great opportunity, especially in that kind of gateway area coming into the community, and to have that much ground. And I'm a sucker for anything old. That's why I kind of have this old beat up table here.
It's cool.
But that water plant, yeah, that's one of the few buildings we've got left that really has that character, and especially being stone, that kind of legacy feel to it.
Yes.
And heritage. So new water plant allows for great opportunity for the existing water plant to be transformed into something really cool. Man, just a side note, what the heck was that place called? Some dairy down in Columbus. Man, what was that? Went to an event down there. But it kind of reminded me of the structure of the water plant, and what they did inside, and had different levels of different things going on, was just really cool to see the potential that a building like that was kind of chopped up.
Yes.
Could utilize those different spaces, and kind of private people come in and create their own thing in there. So really
you are going down the path that we're definitely looking at right now. So yeah. It's a neat concept, and there may be able to be an assortment of businesses working out of that particular site.
Very cool. Oh, and just on that note, the new salon there, right on the corner that Joe got his sign up. It looks like Houston Block Salon and Spa, whatever they're calling that. But like, what a transformation with those windows. The sign going up just kind of set that, like, all right, that's really a tone change. I mean, there's a lot of other things that have gone on, but that, to me, this morning when I came in and saw that sign.
Our facade improvement program that City Council has enacted and the administration is carrying out is really what it's provided is financial resources for owners, building owners in our uptown area to be able to transform these buildings and improve upon them. And this most recent budget, this year's budget, we have $200,000 allocated in our facade improvement program. And owners can apply for those funds and make improvements to buildings. And you're seeing a perfect example at that corner location that has completely transformed that site.
Oh, for sure. And Marysville Printing, that one definitely looks different. And the Elks, I think theirs was part of that.
That's correct. And the Avalon Theater was another example. There's several examples in the Uptown, but our focus, and I just want the public and the community to know this, is to keep Uptown Marysville as we all know it, and only continue to make it better. And I think with some of the things we're talking about with the facade improvement program, with some of the things that we're going to be able to do in the north end of the Uptown with the old water plant site and the silo site, you're also going to see as you move east, when we redo the 5 Points intersection and transform that into a functional, very, very functional roundabout that is going to beautify that area and really move traffic much more efficiently than what you see it today.
Oh yeah. I've seen the historic pictures of like when it looked like it was just dirt roads back then, So in my mind's eye, just the vision of what it, especially thinking to Dublin's roundabouts and just how that's going to change that area and beautify, give landscaping opportunities and just kind of take that cluster and that, awkwardness of. You can tell when people haven't gone through it when you're there, and you can tell people are either A, frustrated by it, or B, don't know how to operate through it and just kind of the nuances of it. And so it'll be great to see that transformed. And
it's functional right now, but it's a little bit of an eyesore too with how it's comes together.
Exactly.
And not only can we improve on the functionality of it, but we can also just make it really look nice. And at the same time, we see that as kind of being the eastern entry into our Uptown area. So we're excited about that project down the road.
For sure. And I don't know all the details on the other end going on with the old Kroger Plaza and all that. A lot of things, it sounds like, have made headway. But my favorite thing that I've seen lately, on both sides of it, because I love nature and outside. And so the Legion, seeing all that stuff cut out,
yes,
I like the...
Isn't it awesome?
The natural stuff, but at the same time, seeing it cleared up and being able to see in there has been awesome to come through. The trails that, or the sidewalks and trails that go through there, and that changed dramatically, in my opinion.
It was really, it was something that we've always wanted to do, and our city crews did a really fantastic job of cleaning that site out, and it's just a beautiful park, and when you're
big
driving
trees,
by, beautiful. Yeah. And so, but that's, from the work that we did at MacGyver Woods, that's an improvement to the American Legion Park. Those are in-house projects that we've done. The BMX facility that we've recently done here in town, that was done.
Sorry to interrupt, but I didn't realize. I thought, really, who's going to come to this? But I mean, it seems like it's especially in the scene of BMX, it's a big thing.
It
is
just
for people out there to understand. It's not just like a city kids threw a track together. I guess I'll put it this way: if you haven't gone to see it, that alone, when I went to see it, was kind of jaw-dropping, literally.
It's probably one of the nicer BMX facilities, not only in the state of Ohio, but probably in the Midwest here. And so we're very fortunate. And what's really neat about that facility is what it gives opportunities for the youth of our community to participate in a program that I think it can be really fun and something that I think they can excel at if they continue to work hard at it. So but to go off those park amenities, we have to talk about Scott Family Park, which is the 112-acre park off Waldo Road there that you can see right off 33. It's right next to Scott Farms development. It's a 112-acre park that was donated to the city by the Hanhart family. And 112 acres. It's and again, we've done a lot of work in-house by our city crews. It's a beautiful park, Derek. It's something that I think it's going to take us, a few years to get it exactly the way we want it. But I think we're going to be able to open up to the public a little bit this summer and be able to open it up and let people really take a look and explore it. And it's going to be a beautiful passive park for this city. And it's going to be able to allow us to tie in some of our developments from the Scott Farms all the way up to McCarthy Park. We're going to be able to tie in some of our developments through trails. And that's always been a goal of ours.
And I mean, talk about another great opportunity. It's amazing to say 12 acres at the northern entrance in, and then kind of farther north of that, 112 acres to be able to be gifted that's quite an impressive opportunity, and obviously generous gift, because that's development ground that obviously a little bit of low lying and maybe not the easiest development, but still 112 acres right next to town. That's incredible. And it's cool to see that as I've driven by and see how it's transformed and all of those things, and the renderings of what's to come and whatnot. It's, the kind of short story for me, when I graduated, the next year will be 20 years ago, and all of the folks that left, like, this town's, I'm getting out of here. There's nothing going on. I'm like, you really don't realize like what we've got here, and especially now, obviously, like the economic development speaker the other night, a week or two ago, and some of those numbers and things, and then the young professional panel that we're talking and just going over why they are here. So anyway, I think sometimes, especially if you've been here for a long time, it's hard to really understand what the community has to offer. And I guess I'm just going off of, most seems like the community's being blessed with these opportunities to really have great opportunities to improve the future and solidify some of that.
The whole goal, Derek, for the city is to really not only maintain and restore Marysville, and keep it the community that we've always all known it to be. But we also want to make it a place that, yes, our young adults today, our children, will have an interest to come back because it has activities and amenities and things associated with it that can really draw them back and want to be here and live here and grow their families here as well.
Gotcha. So let's segue into the fun part of the conversation. I'm sure you love talking about, and we're losing our small town feel. And one of the things I hear the most, and I think is almost right in my opinion, is the smart growth. Well, I'm not really. Obviously, you as the city and the entities that do the best you can with what you're given and the opportunities and all of those things. But smart growth, I don't really know I guess what I'm saying is, for those that don't want growth, there's not really a smart way to do it, because you're going to get it either way. And where we're positioned from Dublin, like, it's going to happen. There's not really much that's, like I heard somebody say one time when there was a proposal for a development in their backyard, the person on the other side of things said, if you want your view to stay the way it is, you need to buy it. So the reality is, until somebody that doesn't want the growth buys up all of the development ground and holds on to it and turns down millions and millions of dollars, it's coming. So anyway, not to go on that too far, but I think at the end of the day, like somebody said one time, we get to be a part of what comes. And I think the culture and the approach that we have as a community to help maintain Marysville and maintain that small town feel and the connectivity of all of those things, not even just connectivity of the cars and the connected Marysville and all of that goes on. So I guess what's your take on our growth, and
We totally agree with the concept of maintaining our small town charm. That is something that we're interested in, and we will do everything that we can do to continue to maintain that. And I feel very confident in everything that we're doing up to this point, us being able to accomplish that. At the same time, we are in a very appealing location that you talk about. I mean, when you are just a few miles outside of the Columbus Ring, and Dublin is the suburb that is there, and then you've got a township like Jerome Township that is growing at this time. What you need to do is position yourself through your development of comprehensive plans and all sorts of plans, from your infrastructure plans to everything that you do to make sure that when development does come, it's done not only in the right locations but in the appropriate way. And so I want people to understand too that there's a lot of developments that come here that we turn away. Mm-hmm. There's that happens all the time. This is not the right location. This is not, and yep. They are discouraged from coming here. So we are going to be very particular. However, we have to stay within certain guidelines of our zoning, and we will do that. But I just want to reassure people that Marysville over the past, I'll just speak to the past 10 years, has grown about 1.5% a year, each year for the past 10 years. And that's been a very manageable growth period. Mm-hmm. I don't anticipate that changing. I think if we grow from year to year, it's going to be around that 1.5% growth rate. Mm-hmm. And I think what the presentation did the other night at the Avalon is it told the story that if you're not growing and you're stagnant or declining, then your community starts deteriorating. Mm-hmm. And so we've got to ride that fine line, and we're very fortunate right now that Marysville is an appealing place for people to want to look at and be here. The unfortunate thing is, as we get jobs and as we get new employers here, people have to understand that we're going to need some housing mm-hmm. to serve this employment base. Currently, right now, we don't have the housing inventory.
Nope.
And so the goal is to do smart, well-planned developments that can serve as a nice potential housing source for future workforce people, and for our kids, your kids, to be able to come back here and live,
right,
and even work here. So those are the kind of things that we have to manage, and I think we'll do so. What I don't want people to think, the people that live here now, let's not move in here and find your home and then shut the door behind you. Let's keep an open mind and keep it open-ended to where we can potentially continue to develop in a smart way that can really serve this community well into the future.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
But I don't want people to be too nervous, Derek, because just like I say, I think you're going to consistently see about maybe 1.5% growth from year to year. It's mm-hmm. not going to be one of those things where we explode all of a sudden. It's going to be very gradual.
Yeah.
And because it takes time for things to happen. And so we'll continue to manage it in that way, and we'll make this community a place that everybody can be proud of.
Yeah. Well, and I think at the end of the day, even the new people that come in still talk about the quality of people here and the relationships and those things. And at the end of the day, I think that's the biggest thing to focus on is the culture. If the culture doesn't change, and I think it's like business and communities, the bigger you get, the harder it is to maintain that. But it takes intentional effort. And so I think as long as everybody's intentional about, that's probably one of the common themes of when I give advice on real estate or whatever it is. I think at the end of the day, most simply said, the answer's in the work. Do the work, be active, be engaged, and I think that's the biggest thing when people want to criticize what's going on. At least become part of the conversation. And try to be productive. And
exactly.
So I think at the end of the day, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem, right?
Yeah. So it's we got to look at it. We're very, very fortunate. I mean, we're extremely fortunate. You know, location. You're in the real estate market. Location is everything, and I would venture to guess there's a lot of communities in the entire Columbus region that would love to have the location of Marysville.
So I was just going to say, I don't know the numbers. Where do we sit from a city, county on the growth? Like we're like second after Delaware, right?
Yeah, the county growth, you know, we're second behind Delaware. But, you know, just like I say, I think we're growing at a very manageable level.
Right. Well, where I was going to go with that is I saw the Columbus Realtors put out some numbers after the census, you know, the 2020 census, and the biggest thing, and I've quoted this I don't know how many times, I think it was between 2010 and 2020, Central Ohio, so Franklin and surrounding counties, grew by 235,000 people. The remaining, 88 counties minus 11 counties, so 77 counties, grew by 35,000. And so people are coming here, and they're coming, so here as in Central Ohio, and then they're coming to the northwest portion. Like, that's the place to be. And like you said, it's a very good thing to be wanted. It's a good opportunity because the other consistent thing that was talked about at that economic development talk with the young professionals was I left that place that was declining, that was stagnant. And so at the end of the day, I'd rather have positive than negative.
Yes, absolutely. And think about, too, what's happening on the northeast side of Columbus. You know, they're going to – that is an area that if something like that would have happened on this side, yeah, that would have been the kind of growth that may have been worthwhile. It's awesome that we're getting that here in the Columbus region. But that would have been a faster-paced growth. Here in our area, we can feel a little bit better about the fact that I think things will be growing, but they'll be growing at a much different rate. Much different.
So, yeah. Okay, one last question to end on. What's your favorite thing about the community?
You know, I came here 12 years ago, and not quite sure. One of the reasons that Marysville drew me is because of the potential. I think the potential of what Marysville could become. And what I love about this community is everybody's very passionate about it. And you know, what's really good, you know, you talk about maybe differences of opinions on people of how they think we should grow. But that's a fantastic thing to have, Derek, to have citizens that are very, very interested in their community and passionate about their community. And I think that helped me restore my interest in the fact that when you're in communities that people don't care much, that's a whole nother animal. And that's not the case here. And I've loved it, and I love what I do. We've got an excellent city council right now. Our executive team, our staff is really good to serve our community. And so I'm having as much fun as I've ever had in my career. So I just love it here.
Well, that's good. We're lucky to have you. Thanks for all the work that you do. I know it's probably has its ups and downs, but
a little bit. Everything does, though, doesn't it?
Well, guys, thanks for watching. Thank you, Terry, for joining me and having this conversation. Glad to be part of a great community and the people in it. So if you guys have anybody in the future you want me to talk to, or if you want to talk to me, I'd love to have them here on the podcast with me. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
See you next time.
It's great being here, Derek. Thank you.
Thank you.